Infinite Revolution Starlight Edition, by Gwencie, or Gwendolyn Clark, is a Lumen-powered fast-paced tabletop RPG where you play as a revolver, a human with a turbine for heart that generates an ever-increasingly ever-cascading level of energy against the entropic scourge of the Veil, an all-consuming existential threat that does nothing but pointlessly eating away at everything. But to actually describe the gameplay, it's more like you are playing a human dogfighter where speed is your life insurance against impossible odd and never-ending waves of enemies. Let's talk about the mechanic. Like all Lumen-powered games, you have 3 stats, hot, quick, and bright, that cap at 3, and you roll however many d6 equals to the number to see what results you get. That's basically it. That's the core rolling mechanic of Lumen's system and why it is so easy to roll it fast, and this game is anything but slow. When I said speed is your life insurance, I'm not just saying metaphorically. Speed is a stat in Infinite Revolution, and it's your health. When a combat starts, your initial speed is 3 plus your quick, get your speed to 0, and you are 0 out. However, while you want to be fast, it might not be a good idea to stay at speed 8 constantly, because speed is also the range band. Your first look at the range might gives you a massive headache, but it's actually very simple. L stands for leading, foes that are faster than you, T stands for trailing, foes that are slower than you, the number determines how fast or slow your targets can be, and M means matched, foes that have equal speed with you, and considering that most weapons, projected or mounted, have leading or matched range, going too fast just mean you can't hit shit most of the time. Which by the way is a very real problem at early jet age, as pilots might not even have seconds to aim and burst something down with gunfire, due to planes going faster and faster and bigger, which results in the development of smart weapons to counter this issue. No need to risk crashing your plane when you can just lock onto something from miles away. But yes, essentially, speed is not just your life, it is also your range, and managing it is going to be a difficult task because you simply do not have the time to manage it carefully, as the Veil will keep pouring in through Veil breaches. In combat, while you might be constantly outnumbered by the Veil, each time a player passes their turn to take an action, which can include using a weapon and rolling a check to attack, increasing or decreasing your speed through boost via your drive's Excel stat, and stressing up your drive to utilize power that hits automatically, only one of the Veil units take a move, kinda like chess. This means that, like Nova, Apocalypse Frame, and any other Lumen-powered game, the GM can basically put a ton of enemies on board without unintentionally overpowering the players, and the players get to feel powerful by wiping out waves of units in one go, and there's a lot, and I do mean a lot, of power and weapons that can do that. However, it also means that as long as something survives, the GM can still make a move, and the worst things here aren't the Veil units on the field, it's the incursion, representing the Veil pouring in from crack in reality itself. Each time a round finished, the GM gets to take an incursion turn and make things worse, whether that's spawning more enemies or opening more bloody Veil breaches, which can in turn makes the incursion worse. You want to close these Veil breaches, fast, really fast. Thankfully sealing Veil breach only take up a special action aside from your normal action, and to close a breach, you have to match your speed to the breach, and if a breach has a speed of 1, you can start sweating. There's one very important thing you need to know too. As long as there's a surviving Veil unit, even just one, on field, on incursion turn, new breaches will spawn near them, so you really want to clean the board and fast. The same feeling of oppressiveness from the Veil is also applied to the off-combat ops phase, where players have to roll check against attention clock to try to finish their objective before the Veil overruns the whole place, making it so that even if the players are powerful as hell, they can't just shoot all their problems away. Now, let's talk about what revolver you can be. First, when making a revolver, you have to pick several things like your starting RPM number from 10,000 to 99,999, and your call sign. These don't have mechanical properties, but each time you advance, your RPM will only go higher, and there's no cap, so it can get quite ridiculous. Next, pick your drive core, which basically determines how your revolver fights and also gives you unique abilities to wield in combat, such as passive that defines how your core works and expresses itself, power which can be activated and deal harm to foes without rolling, but costs drive stress, the number of which must not exceed your core's burn gate or else you take drive burn, which is very bad. I will explain why later. You can also reduce your drive stress on field by sealing up Veil breaches, so start drinking them up like they are 100 plus. And overdrive, extremely powerful action that can definitely finish a fight, but each time you use it, there's a 1/3 chance of you taking a drive burn, again, really bad. Lastly, there's the burn scar section, unique for each core. Burn scar is what you get when you take a drive burn, from permanently damaging your core one way or another, because there's no way to turn your core off to repair it, because your drive core isn't what's generating the power, it's you, and the only thing keeping you from sublimating into Starlight is the core. This is even applied right into combat, as when you reach zero speed from the veil impacting you, you are zero out but you are not dead, you are physically invincible, but the veil doesn't need you dead, it just needs you out of the way until it can overrun the whole sector, and now you have two choices. You could either wait out the fight and hope your allies finish it, or you rally back into the fight by burning up your drive. Burn Scar isn't just for show either, it can have some dramatic narrative effect in downtime turn, like just having things propelling from being in contact with you, or seeing ways to kill things even if you don't want to, and at the last Burn Scar, you burn up and gain a tremendous power boost for the rest of the combat, but your revolver's story has effectively ended, make it count. Moving on, each drive core are unique to each other. These includes the gravity-pulling Taurus core that makes itself and everything else slow and much heavier, the quantum-linked Gemini core that has a clone of its own and can deal with problems from two places at once, the radiance-bursting Leo core that can spread deadly electromagnetic wave all around through itself or its foes, and the equalizing Libra core that can take force exerted by others and apply an equal but opposite force to it. There's also one last thing to customize your drive core with, the patterns, of which there's 4, heavy, balance, light, and ultralight, which comes with 3 stats, weight, which in this case basically acts like armor that reduces impact thrown by the veil, XL, which determines how much speed you can gain or lose when boosting, and weapons, what type and how many projected and mounted weapons you can use. Essentially, heavier pattern can take impact better and has more weapon variety, but they are slow in controlling their speed, whereas lighter pattern can just go fast but they are lacking in weapon variety and cannot take hit well at all. Each drive core only has a limited choice of pattern they can have, so take notice. Anyway, let's talk about weapons. There's 2 kinds of weapon in Infinite Revolution, projected weapons and mounted weapons. Projected weapons are essentially weapons shaped by your power, uniquely customized just for you, while mounted weapons are factory manufactured mass-produced weapons that can be easily swapped out for something else for versatility. For projected weapon, you basically pick a weapon pattern like beam, cannon, sword, or shield, and a subtype of it. Each pattern also has a unique trait that defines their role in combat, while for mounted weapon, you just pick whatever fancy you. However, like you, projected weapon can grow stronger with time, using focus point from your advancement to unlock the focus tree. But, a projected weapon can only have benefits from 3 focus arts at a time, and applying a high tier 1 requires you to apply all previous focus art in a tree. Nevertheless, this means that only a projected weapon can truly be called as your own, and you can customize it through the focus arts however you want. To sum it all up, weapons are tools that can deal harm to the veil but require a check to roll and thus can miss, whereas using power automatically hit the veil, but that costs drive stress which might ended up cracking your drive, and you are always in a time limit, not just in combat against the innumerable veil, but your own one when your core shatters from burning out. But as the last defender of humanity, you can't give up, you don't think if you can defy the odd, you just do it, and maybe, one day, you can break through the veil and set humanity free into the star, again. And that's basically it on Infinite Revolution, a game about going beyond the impossibility to fight against the annihilation. I always like it when a TTRPG just pulls out a whole new mechanic to completely revamp how you fight in combat. The idea of speed being both your health and range is just such an interesting idea. It's really nice to see people keep coming up with new stuff through the same game system, and still keeps it to the core theme of being fast-paced as heck. My only complaint about Infinite Revolution is that you are called Revolver, and you can only take 5 burn scars before burning out. Also, for some reasons, the first thing I think of after reading through the whole thing is Toho. I'm not even sure why, but I guess the idea of being a human jet fighter using speed as resource to avoid and take enemies' attack just kinda remind me of shmup games somehow. Anyway, you can get it now on itch.io, and apparently, there's going to be a Kickstarter for Infinite Revolution Overdrive Edition somewhere in the next month, to put in more expansion and so on in it. Something to check out, I suppose. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.